Hiya. I'm going to do a video for all your patrons. It was a big day yesterday. I was not expected. These big days always seem to be spontaneous and a timing. But yesterday was a healing day as well. We did diamond healing, and that was amazing. It was a really amazing session. It went on for about 5 hours, but it just seemed everybody was really open, and we got to the roots of lots of things, and there was lots of tears, and which is a good thing when it's in healing. So that was really good. And then I spoke to a lovely lady, and she's given me her permission to talk about her case today, her situation, and it links in, and it's helped me understand how reality is the way it is, and how the reptilians have been used to give us their minds, or how they want us to work. And yeah, so since Christmas, if you've been watching the videos, you know that I've been learning about the brain. So everything's been about the brain. The people that are coming to me, I'm just learning about so, you know, implants in the brain, to there's loads of different consciousness inside the brain that has different resonance and emotions and different beliefs, and going in there and healing all those aspects, to certain parts of the brain to link to certain parts of the body, to how addictions are set up. I've been learning about that, and how the gut and the brain are linked, to how the substances that we take have a huge effect on the brain, to the immunizations, and seeing the liquid metal in the brain, and how that affects us, to, you know, signs of dyslexia, to irritation, not being able to sleep, to anger issues, to not being able to, your heart consciousness to come into your body because your body is under attack because of the immunizations that's gone to the brain. I've seen the effects of sleeping tablets and that effect on the brain. It basically just cracks the brain, to ecstasy tablets, to cocaine, to all these things, and how they basically brain damage us. And the brain damage, we don't consider brain damage, we just see this as, oh, like emotional issues, like, you know, oh you can't sleep, here's more pills to fuck you up even more. So basically the pharmaceutical company has a huge amount of responsibility to take, because a lot of what they've prescribed has affected our brains in a not positive way. And what's also affected our brains, now how our brains work and how our hearts work, has a lot to do with our mums and dads. The interaction between our mum and dad is basically, we mimic that, and our brains interact with so say for instance, you've got a very abusive father, and you've got a very you know, victimized mother. Then you're going to have a brain that is dominant over the heart, and the head will rule, where really they need to work together in order to create a beautiful reality, individual reality for you. But if we've got really unstable parents, then our brains and our hearts are not going to work as well. Now, what I've also started to see, that there's a split in the brain, the right and the left side, the right and the left hemisphere of the brain. And one side can be abusive and the other side be victim. And I've started to see this, but it doesn't relate to the parents, doesn't relate to how the parents have brought this child up. And I was like, this is a bit odd. I don't know why this is, but we need to go in and sort of deprogram and heal the consciousness within the nodules and in the brain. And then this lovely lady came along yesterday. I'm just wondering which, I'll tell you a little bit there. When I was it just made sense of my personal story, because when I spoke about the black magician, I did a video about the black magician that I allowed into my life and trusted, and lots of crap came my way. What I didn't talk about at that time was my little boy was 4 at the time, and he came downstairs one morning when all this was going on, and a black magician. Yeah, I didn't know he was a black magician. I just thought he was a healer, and anyway, when he entered into my life got really, really difficult. Jinn to demonic attacks to Draco. It was horrendous. I've done a couple of videos on it. And but I learned a lot along the way. But what also happened at the time, my little boy was 4 when this started, and he came downstairs one day. We were sitting at the dinner table, and he said, "Mummy, dinosaurs are coming into my bedroom at night and talking to me." Now, he said it in a way that my ears, I did not laugh this off. This was, I knew this wasn't like a kid's imagination. Just the way he presented it and the way he talked about this, he was quite frightened. And, "Mummy, can you help?" And I'm like, anyway, there was a woman in my life at that time. She was psychic, and she said, "Oh, he's been programmed, but it's good." She tried to convince me that this was good, that reptilians coming into his bedroom at night and programming was a good thing. Anyway, his behaviour at that time started to change. His sleeping changed, and his everything got a lot worse. And it's only been really to break him out of it in the last year. So the reppy energy of breaking me out and claiming my son back has taken years. And if I knew now what I knew then, we wouldn't have to go through all that. But I had a lot to learn along the way. And yesterday, this really lovely lady came along, and she was speaking about this healer that's been in her life for the last few years, and looking after her son who's got parasites. She's talking about parasites that son's 4. And she said, "But Becky, he's talking weirdly. He's talking, how he's getting thoughts of hitting people, and then, but he knows he shouldn't, or thoughts of he doesn't like this person, but he knows he does." And it's like a really conflicting way of thinking. And thankfully, he's telling his mum about this. So she told me about the healer, and she told me about the son. So I went and looked at the son. I went and had a chat with him to see what was going on. And I saw a red cord in his spine. Now, red cords I see all the time, not all the time, but I do see them. They're common. And I know red cords are linked to reptilian energy. And for some reason, I've never investigated more than that. I just know it's a reptilian thing. And generally, so I just pull it out. So I saw that he had a reptilian cord in him. And then I went and checked out the healer, this healer, and she looked beautiful. She was like, and tension's really good, and I thought, no, she's really nice. I like her. And then I went, can't remember exactly what happened, but went higher up, and she was connected to all this really beautiful energy, like this beautiful ET woman came along, and it was like, wow, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, this is really beautiful. And then something just clicked. I'm like, this is not right. This is not real. Like, this is a hologram. And then when I realized that all this beautiful light was a hologram, the real that came down, and behind it was just reptilian energy everywhere. And this healer was connected to all this energy. I was like, fuck. And then I saw that the healer, was the one that put the red cord in the spine of this 4-year-old. And this linked him up to the reptilian energy. So I just followed, went and looked at the boy and just seen what she'd done. So she hooked the red cord up to his spine. And she then the reptilian energy was able to travel up and start to program him up at night, putting images of dinosaurs. And I was telling the mum this, and she goes, he's obsessed with dinosaurs. And that's what happened to my son. He was obsessed with dinosaurs. So that's one sign there. Dinosaurs, images of violence, and everything. And what this was also doing to the boy's brain was splitting the left and the right side of the brain. So not only was he losing contact with his left side of the brain, the feminine side, but also he was losing contact with his mum. Because the mum, we have our babies connected to us, our consciousness is connected to us, and this makes me emotional. Yeah, so the fuckers, they were basically abusing this child, programming this child at night with the mum unaware, and trying to disconnect the mum from the child and disconnect him from his own heart. And when I was looking at the child and I was looking at what they were doing to this child, and the energy around me, the reptilian energy, that like they were all beading eyes on me. They were like, it was really intense. And I'm like, I can't, because I needed to go in and sort of look, heal the aspects of the brain where they tried to take over this little boy. And I thought, I can't go near him. I need to go and confront this energy. I need to go and confront the reptilians that were doing this. So I went right back where all the fake charade came down, and they were pissed, like really pissed, to the point where I'm like, wow, this is way bigger than I thought, because the amount of energy was enormous. Like, they were really pissed, and I was like, I mean, I wasn't worried, but I got Gaia involved, I got all the planets involved. I was like, shine your lights, like all this needs to be seen. The whole universe needs to see what these reppies are doing. Reppies that are portraying themselves as this white light. This healer, she portrayed of galactic beings, and that she worked with galactic beings. Anybody's telling you working with galactic beings, I would be very, very careful. If you've got a healer that doesn't fully trust themselves and goes outside of themselves, then I would worry. Anyways, I'm not saying all healers are like that, but if a healer is relying on another source of galactic beings, or when people do the Q&As and I've asked questions of this galactic stuff, it's always come back a load of crap. Don't trust it. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, she was all into this love and light stuff, this healer, and realising behind all this love and light stuff is all this reptilian energy. And, yeah, it all came down yesterday. It was the massive operation that had been taking place on the humans on Earth came down yesterday. So there's no more, none of our babies, our children that are born that or are being programmed now have stopped. That has all stopped. However, the red cords need to be taken out, and the effects of the programming. This programming I've seen in adults, they have like a abusive victim mentality brains. So the programming goes on. It's like we think of programming as obviously the social programming, to the news programming, to people who are in like horrendous programming like MK Ultra and stuff like that. But the programming that goes underneath there, where people don't have a clue about. Their parents are lying in bed happily sleeping while their children are being programmed at night by these reptilians. That all stopped yesterday, but the effects of that needs to be cleared up. So a massive, it was a good day yesterday. It was like a war had been won yesterday on the love and light community. That had been highly exposed on a universal level. And and behind that love and light. Obviously the Watchers, but the reptilians that are working in this universe were all exposed yesterday. So that shit can stop. Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of learning difficulties come this way because the left and right brain are split, and yeah, loads of stuff. So I thought I'd share that with you. Yeah, it's a good day yesterday. Thanks for watching. You take care. Bye.